Hello, this is Mad Cat, the angry egalitarian that discusses this and that. Today, we are looking at things feminists say, number 11. We are flying through these. And remember, you can argue all you want that gender is a social construct, but it's a biological construct. The things that we do as men and women do happen from birth. Okay, so let us go ahead and get started again. Hello, Nemesis Diablo. Always good to see you. Let's start our screen share. Okay, so Target to remove gender-based signs from stores. I didn't highlight any of this, but this is really short. The retail giant announced it will stop using gender-based signs in toys, home, and entertainment sections. The reason for this change is to make sure customers don't feel frustrated or limited by the way things are presented. Okay, so I'm not necessarily against like changing toys, so you just mix all the toys together, but you know what? Things still go in their aisle. I mean, that's like saying, well, we're no longer going to put like creative building toys such as Connects and Legos and erector sets all in the same aisle. We're going to mix them up. So if you want to find Legos, you have to go look next to Barbie and a bicycle. Things are organized in an efficient manner so people can find what they need more efficiently. Oh, thank you, Lycan. I appreciate that. Lycan said that he's definitely going to try to hang out at these more often. So, yeah. But let's continue reading. So this will include items like bed sheets, which will no longer be the distinguished by boy or girl signs. The same policy will apply to the toy aisle, where the use of pink or blue on the back of walls of the shelves will be discontinued. Okay, the back of the walls things, that's not really a big deal. I mean, that's more of a decoration, but you know what? There are certain bed sheets that men like, and there are certain bed sheets that women like. And most of the time, women are the ones buying bed sheets. Are you then going to disinclude products that are specifically designed for women, such as having little flowers on there? Oh, I mean, you're basically telling people that they're not smart enough to make decisions for themselves or look past the obvious marketing that's being shoved in their faces almost everywhere they go to make a decision for themselves. Just because there's something that's in a particularly girl section doesn't mean a guy can't go in there and get something. I know I have. I can't name something off the top of my head, but I've never been afraid to go into the girls section. Other than the fact that sometimes I wonder if girls are looking at me as some sort of pervert for being in the girls section. I don't know. Maybe this is a good thing. So when I do go into a girls section for whatever reason that I need to, I don't feel like I'm being judged as a pervert. I don't know. Maybe this is a good thing. I'm just not seeing it. Target said it recognizes that signs that help out products said that signs that help out sort products based on age, brand, or gender help shoppers find what they need. Yes, but it also acknowledges that shoppers' preferences change over time. See, you have a contracting thing here. You're saying that, it's wrong to do this, but you do it anyways. The move has been welcomed by many parents and gender equality advocates, many of whom hope that other retailers will follow suit. The changes will come over the next few months. Target said it's making this based on a large part from feedback it's received from its customers. In a statement on its website, Target wrote, "We heard you and we agree." So basically, you're trying to take out gender altogether from your shoppers and say, that gender doesn't matter. Now, there are certain people, trans people especially, that are either cross-gender, neither gender, or going over from one gender to the other. However, in society, they do represent a minority, but you're catering specifically to them. And then you're also catering to social justice warriors that are saying that things are a social construct. And this seems benign. It doesn't really seem like a big deal, but my concern is that you're going to start down this path of determining anything that represents a specific gender needs to be taken out, and we can only have things that both genders can use. So like monster trucks, well, girls don't really play with that, so we're going to take that out of the store and only have things that both men and women will want. You're starting down this slippery slope. And if anyone feels threatened or intimidated because there happens to be a girls section for clothing or entertainment or toys, they've got a lot of serious problems. Lycan, it doesn't say anything about clothing. Do you think it'll include those later on? I think it will. I think that eventually we're going to see where this is going to be intermingled. Now, how they end up doing that, I don't know, because there are things that are specifically for men and specifically for women. But I imagine that they'll just kind of put, no, here's what I think will happen. They will have a girls section for like bras and panties or whatever, and things that are specifically for women. And then they'll have a section for everyone else. That is what I think they'll do. You know, pants and shoes and socks and, you know, t-shirts. They'll be all intermixed together. And you have to really look at what you're buying to make sure that you are buying the thing that you want and not something that's for the opposite gender of what you were shopping for. But women will still have their very specific section because they'll look at it as men don't need a specific section, and most of the stuff within the male specific section are things that girls would want to shop for anyways. Tiberius Kirk, it's a little dumb when all those products will cater to gender with their packages. That is also a very good point. You can try to take the gender out of your signs, but you can't take the gender out of the products. But feminists are working on it. So let's take a quick look at some of the conversation points. I just hope I can find the men's clothing aisle. For now, you probably can. Just another example of a store reacting to a small group of people and ignoring the majority of their customers. Recent studies and polls have shown that the percentage of people who are part of the LGBT and trans fluid gender deceptions are at most 3% in this country. Transgendered and fluid gender, I would agree with that, but LGBT is a lot higher than 3%. I would say at least 25%, if not more. At least 90% do not hold this philosophy or lifestyle, yet stores like Target change policies to accommodate the minority group. So no common sense at all. Smart move, Target. You better hope the 3% can keep you afloat. Well, I used to shop at Target. It was nice. It was convenient, but I'm kind of not wanting to shop there anymore. I'm sure others will feel the same. In time, it'll be like China with all of us wearing green, said by Nemesis Diablo. I didn't know people in China wore all green, but that may happen. Dumb shits. A boy is a boy genetically, and a girl is a girl if they are in a toy aisle. I'm buying my grandson trucks and action figures. Or we're just going to walk in a world where people are all just it's. I'm running the other way. So there is no male and female. You're all now called it. Give me a break. How much more of this can how much more can this country take on the selfish, self-centered weasels who subscribe to this PC feel-good crap? And last, no more Target shopping. If a corporation will stand up to a small group of people and not take a stand on God's worlds, I will not support them. So yeah, there's a little bit of religion ease in all of this, but Kat is updating me on some information. Trans would be 1%. LGB is officially 7% from census data. Still a very small amount statistically speaking. So at best, Target is reacting to 8% of the population. Now, maybe that 8% will start shopping more at Target than other retailers and might help them make up their money. But they're basically telling 93% that you should be ashamed of your gender and we're going to do it for you. Lycan, in terms of things like toys and bed sheets, I don't think I have a problem with removing gender-based advertising. Instead, have them listed as they actually are, as dolls, cars, etc. Yeah, it's hard to be really mad about this, but I kind of see a bigger picture that if they continue down this road, we're going to start seeing that gender being removed from all things. And you know what? I'm a man. I'm 100% a man. I'm not going to feel shame for that. And yet I feel like Target is trying to make me feel shame for identifying as a man. Tiberius Kirk. I like it if my daughter plays with dinosaurs and trucks rather than the worthless princesses. Part of this stuff makes sense. What does this princess actually teach girls about being girls? Well, let me ask you a question, Tiberius. And I don't mean to put you on the spot here. Do you really care what toys your children play with, your sons and daughters? And if they make the choice of what they want to play with, do you support that, no matter what gender they are for? And I'll wait for him to answer on that. We'll go ahead and move to our next article. So I did highlight this a little bit just to make it easier. Seattle moves to require all gender single-stall restrooms in city buildings and places of business. So the Seattle City Council on Monday adopted legislation requiring all city-controlled and privately occupied public accommodations to designate existing and future single-stall bathrooms as all-gender facilities. Tiberius Kirk said yes to that. He doesn't let her play with toy guns. And, well, you know, my mother never let me play with toy guns. And I turned out perfectly okay. The legislation applies to such businesses as restaurants, coffee shops, hotels, and stores. It mandates that all single occupancy, single bathrooms, and those at public accommodations must have signage that is not gender inclusive, but allowed use by any gender identity. Single use. Well, generally single use usually had a sign on there for a man and a woman to indicate that anyone could use it. What this is saying now is that you can no longer do that. You have to say that it's all genders allowed to use that restroom. And honestly, I have a problem with this because we're wasting time on legislation to fix a couple of words on a public restroom that was single occupancy. So it will say all genders are welcome. And I don't know. I just think that this is a waste of time, in all honesty. Because once again, if a person who identifies as trans, gender fluid, you know, if they feel oppressed because a bathroom doesn't specifically state what they are, that somehow that they're being misrepresented in society, it's a fucking bathroom. It's a place for shitting and pissing and occasionally washing our hands. I always wash my hands. It's nothing special. It's not like men and women get something special in their bathrooms and the trans people don't. It's a fucking bathroom. And we're wasting time, money, and legislation on something, on single occupancy bathrooms that is open for everyone to use, except for dogs and cats, but still, that's just common sense right there. I'm looking at the comments right now, just kind of reading through them. Tiberius continued on. I'm going to kind of go back, but this is talking about the last article, I believe. Well, it's like the thing with the benign a superhero. A princess is someone with social power. Boys' toys and action figures are more of material power. Well, most soldier toys are like grunts in the military that go die in war, while princesses stay behind and order the death of their soldiers. Something to think about. I saw one Reddit a while ago where the father would sit down with his daughter and have her make tough decisions, like the teddy bear are holding protests against the kittens or something like that. Tiberius continues on, but I still give her most choices. If she wants to play with dolls, she can. I just like it that she doesn't. And that's fair. I mean, you give her the choice, no matter what your personal choice is. And I think that that's a very responsible thing to do, Tiberius. Kat continues on. He made her make tough decisions to rule her empire and stressed that there wasn't always a right decision that could be made, when sometimes you can't make everyone happy. And that's a very good thing there. Red Robot, what? Even privately owned bathrooms? Yep. Now, I don't know if that means like businesses or homes, but I don't really see homes having signs put on. But I don't see this really affecting homes, but maybe like private corporations, probably. Okay, so I'm going to go back to reading this article. The legislation includes amending the Seattle Municipal Code so single occupancy restrooms will no longer be restricted to a specific sex or gender. A gender-neutral bathroom was established at the White House earlier this year and the Eisenhower Executive Office building. Philadelphia adopted a similar bathroom legislation last year. The new rules will be enforced by the Seattle Office of Civil Rights, a zealous advocate of non-discriminatory in policy and political correctness in language. The action taken today by the City Council will make Seattle a more welcoming place for everyone, regardless of race, gender, or sexual orientation. No one should live in fear when they use basic accommodations most of us take for granted. So, does trans people really live in fear when they go into a single occupancy bathroom that has a logo of a man and a woman? Do they really? Is there like a guard there that says, well, you look like a girl, but I obviously see you have a penis, so you're not allowed to come here. Now, either you can leave or I can shock you with a cattle prod. Because if that was happening, then removing that man from the situation, removing the guard would be, an understandable solution. But they feel threatened because there's a sign on a wall that says men and women, or it says everyone can come. And now they have to say all genders. Well, here's a fun thought. How about the minority of the people that don't identify with any gender? They don't want to be seen as a gender. What bathroom are they supposed to use? Because now it says all genders, but what about those that are anti-gender? Are they supposed to go in the streets now? Because, I mean, maybe you should change the sign, all genders and no genders, just to be safe. And, I had a transgender friend talk to me about this recently, and she stated that the problem is that men really don't care about this whole trans issue. If a guy who happens to appear to be a female comes into the men's restaurant, and I use the gender term male, even though they might identify as a female socially, or they're making the crossover from being a male and wanting being a female instead and still come into the men's bathroom, they don't care. Most men really don't care about that shit. Maybe you might get a few religious nuts, but they're not going to make a big deal in the bathroom there. And if a woman who's transitioning into a male comes into the male bathroom, no one really cares. The problem comes when it happens in the women's bathroom. That in either of those situations, they really don't want them in that bathroom. And that's why all of this is being made such a big deal. Women don't want trans people in bathrooms, because mostly what they don't want is anyone with a penis in a woman's bathroom. So that's why there's all this push from social justice warriors to do this. So, I support trans rights. There are places where they are being discriminated against, but this isn't one of them. We're talking about a single occupancy bathroom where anyone can go into and use it for whatever they need to, related to pooping and pissing. They can use it for whatever they want, and we have to make such a big deal about this. I'm sorry, I don't see it. And this is later going to lead that restaurants now have to install a third bathroom for all other genders, which is going to be an economic nightmare. And in fact, I bet you this will close down a lot of businesses because they can't afford to put a third bathroom in there. A lot of places are restricted on space, and they could get sued for not having a third bathroom. And this is what I fear with a decision like this. This is not really something we should be wasting time and money on, to change a sign from being men and women can come in here to all genders can come in here, because that's generally implied. So I'm going to go to chat before I close this out and do my last video today. So Nemesis Diablo, it sounds like a new way for women to claim rape when a guy walks in on her single stall. Can't they just use bathroom for gender they identify as? Tiberius Kirk, it's also a place for glory holes. I'm not sure where he was going with that. Maybe a joke up above. Sado Chris, good to see you. Cat, discrimination against litter boxes. I'm probably missing some of this conversation here. Red Robot. Well, that's not quite the comparison I was going for. Boys like physical toys, mechanical stuff, and trucks. Girls like social toys, dolls, princesses, and home stuff. That's a generalization, of course. Lycan, I may be a cis droid here, but even if they are trans, wouldn't both men and female figures be enough? Physically other than penis or vagina, which else do they have tentacles? Or what else do they have? Tentacles? Catrice, it's relatively true for the most part. There's a test used for infants in, I believe, England. It's basically lay out 4 boy toys, 4 girl toys, and 2 neutral toys and see what the kid wants. This reminds me of that bit in Night Court where the 2 female bailiffs stand near the bathroom and make bets on which one a given night weirdo would go into. Well, shall please. Well, this shall please the like 5 trans people in this world. It won't please most, Sato. I don't think this will really please trans. Those that actually have a problem with this kind of issue are not going to stop here. They're not going to stop until everyone caters specifically to them and ignore the binary. And this is what social justice warriors want as well. But social justice warriors want men to be ignored. So the only true genders are trans and female. Sato Chris, not all these people like to bitch about everything. Red Robot, I doubt the Herodons will be happy in any case. I don't know what that is. Catrice, most trans people don't much care. They just rather be ignored. Flailing and making noise, going, look at me, is about the last thing on their minds. Most trans people go pretty far out of their way trying to hide the whole trans dealie. And that's very true. They want to just be seen as the gender they themselves identify with. They don't want to raise attention to it. So, and having transgendered specific bathrooms would actually do that as well. But I have heard talk that that's something that some in the trans community are vocal about this want. Sato Christ, women's bathroom have the most privacy, so I don't get why women are so annoyed that a male to female trans is in their bathroom. It's a principle of the issue. Feminists are trying to promote this idea that all men are rapists, and if they have a woman alone, he's going to rape her. And nothing is more secluded than a woman's bathroom, where a woman has no means of defending herself in any way. And that's the narrative that social justice warriors and feminists like to paint. So the idea of someone with a penis going into a woman's bathroom is somehow the worst thing possible. And the thing is I've talked to other people who've been in like the service industry, who's been in retail industry, and that sometimes workers are required to go clean bathrooms, and they say that women are the messiest of all. They have little regard for their bathroom, and yet women are always the one who are trying to say that they are the cleanest between the two genders. And it's a perception that most people actually share. But it really seems like a woman's bathroom is like the most sacred thing to a woman. So the idea of someone infiltrating into their fortress of solitude is the worst thing that could possibly happen, even if it's a trans person. Now, I don't have any information on this, but my trans friend has stated that the LGBT tends to backstab the T part of their name. As Catrice tells us, guys tend not to wipe shit all over the walls. Go on to Google. I'm sure you can find some stories about that. All right, so I've got one more video today. I'm going to be doing a video where I react to a feminist who has quite a bit to say on what feminism actually is and the rights that women are denied, and I just can't help but respond to it. So go ahead and join me for that. Just to let my viewers know, I have started up a Patreon. It's more of just supporting me for what I do. It's not really anything to unlock anything special as of this time. So you can find that patreon.com/mad_cats. And that does it for me. Thank you everyone for coming out. And I'll see you in the next video, which will be the last one today. This is Mad Cat signing out.